Okay, welcome back. This is now part three of our lecture, um, and we're going to talk a little about SketchUp, and we're going to also give you some design time. Now, normally, what happens in the course is that I would be pausing for a little while and give you, the students, some time to get together with your groups and like digest some of those ideas. I'm going to give you some time. Instead of that, some work time. I'm going to encourage you guys to take it and not just simply just blow off the rest of this. I'm going to encourage you to sit down and communicate with your team members, either WeChat or however, and get together and start working. Because the more effort you put in now, the less time you're going to have to do later. Um, I also want to provide you a little bit of an overview of SketchUp and how the tool works. This is something I want you to start playing with now. And some of you may have done 3D modeling before, some of you might have not. Um, I have found this to be a really wonderful tool, and I've used this extensively in this course. I've also used it professionally in different environments. I can model out a lot of different kinds of things in 3D. I've used it for presenting. It's a wonderful tool. And I really want to share this with you a little bit. And I want to walk you through some of the basics about how it works and what it does. So the first thing I want you to know is make sure that you're using SketchUp for free. It's also known as SketchUp for Web. Do not pay for this. There is no SketchUp for Studio for universities. We do not have a university-wide license. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use that, and I'm going to show you a little bit how to do this and what some of the parts of this tool are. And so when I go to SketchUp for Web, I get this screen that says Start Modeling, and I'm going to click on that. And what's going to happen is it's going to start loading. And this is some previous stuff I have in here. My son's been playing with this, but I'm going to go to Create New. And what it does is it kind of gives me this 3D space here that I can work with. And one of the things that you're going to notice is it comes with this figure in here. This figure is to give you a sense of scale and proportion. So when you start working in SketchUp, you're going to realize very quickly that you are working in space, and it's very hard to get scale and perspective very quickly. So one of the things that you might want to do is just leave this figure in here until you're ready to get rid of him. Or maybe you want to keep them in, that's up to you. But what it is really designed to do is to give you a sense of scale on everything. And so the first thing what you do is you kind of have, you have your navigation toolbar over here, which allows you to manipulate specific parts of the tool set up here. And over here, it's going to give you more detailed instructions about how it works. One thing we're going to make sure to talk about is the 3D warehouse and how that part works. Um, as far as a solid inspector, model, soften, display, scene, shadows, tags, styles, materials, you're not going to really need to use most of that. The most important things you guys are going to need to use is going to be this toolbar over here, and then the 3D warehouse over here. And so one thing I wanted to make sure that we're going to do is I'm going to just show you real quickly how to navigate this. So this is basically the select tool. And anytime I select something, and all I'm doing is I'm just clicking and dragging out, my object gets highlighted in blue. And this gives me, then below that is my eraser tool, where I can erase specific parts of a model and make it disappear. I can draw with a pencil tool, and I can make a line like that. And you're going to see when I made a shape, I went from just drawing out a line to a triangle. Um, when I connected it back into it, it turned kind of this gray color, and that's it basically filling in the shape. So that's a quick way to basically to start editing and building very quickly. You can also have a rectangle tool where you can just take this and just click on it on the shape and draw out. And when you click it again, what happens is it allows you to build out a very quick shape here, a very quick rectangle. And if I wanted to say make a second rectangle, I can then go like this, go up, go over, and now I've got a rectangle, and I'm basically starting to make a box. There it is. Now I have a cube. And that took me maybe about 10 seconds to make that. But it's a complete 3D cube that I can draw very quickly. and I can make any shape I want. Sometimes what you can do is you can also use this to make other shapes that exist down here. You'll note if I click on this 3 dots, it gives me tons more different tools to work within here as well. I recommend mostly staying up here in these different for these areas. But if you want to, for example, make a circle and put a circle on top of your box, you can just select that and then draw that out, and now I've got a circle on top of my box. And again, this is for building out your simulations. This is for building out areas, different areas. One of the things that I also want to show you is that you see that there is a XY, this works on XYZ axis. So you have your X-axis here in blue, your Y-axis in red, and your Z-axis in green. And so you're going to notice that when you start modeling and you start building, that you are moving in those 3 different spaces. So do you see how this one is starting me on the blue here, and I can draw it up the blue axis and then swing it out like this. Now you see how it changed colors? So it switched to the Y-axis. And then when I start doing that, that's one way that allow me to kind of keep track of where I am in 3D space, is by understanding where I am on that axis. Another tool you might use is to basically to push and pull on the different faces. When you select these different planes, these different sides, it's called a face. By clicking and dragging it, I can extrude or change the shape or the direction of that shape. I can also rotate the shape by using this protractor tool, where I put it on this thing that I want to go in the direction of. I draw a line out like this. I click once, and then I spin it, and it allows me to twist the shape like this. So that's kind of cool because I can get these kind of cool shapes. I can also rotate the whole object itself. This is one that allows you to basically change the scaling of the shape by going like this. This allows me to make like a pyramid. This allows me to make kind of a rhombus shape. And I can do that on any, and it allows me to kind of it's called the uniform scale tool. And when I do this, it allows me to scale everything on a single plane. So you can see I can grab these different handles here and maybe make the pyramid go this way, or make the pyramid go this way. Now it's more of a ramp. The paint tool allows me to allow me to change the different colors of the object, paint it like this. It also has different colors that I can use, and different textures, different materials that I can bring into it. So for example, if I wanted to do this as metal, I could then select metal and then paint this as a metal shape and as a metal color instead. You can do vegetation. If I want to make this like, say, grass. Now it's got grass. Now you can building maybe like there's rock underneath the grass, what have you. So you have lots of things to play with over there. Another thing that's kind of a tool that I'm going to show you real quick is also you can also measure things. And so you can see that this rectangle is about 10 feet long. And I'm just going to hit escape to get out of that. And let's see how wide it is. It's about 6 feet wide. Our character over here, you can also measure him. See, he's about 6'5". And then you can kind of just keep building off of that into the different shapes. One thing you can also do is that, let's say if you just want to edit just this side of it here, I can click once and then double click, and you see how a blue frame came around that. And if I hit delete, oops, didn't mean to do that. Should be able to delete just that side. There it is. So all I did there was I just hit select once and then I hit delete, and that allows me to open up that shape and work with it again. I can also just do that to just create an open box. You will also find that this is really useful, that you realize, okay, well, let's say if I want to make this grass, this guy's going to walk on. And I realize, well, wait a minute, the grass doesn't come to me, it was waste. I can also use this push-pull tool to lower it like this. And now I've got kind of just a little bit of dirt showing, but I've mostly got grass. And then I'm going to put it on the side here, and I can pull it out. And so doing it this way, I'm going to rotate. I can quickly create some grass for like a kind of a, a little area for our guy to stand on. Now, let's say we wanted to, for example, this is great and we're having a good time, but let's say I want to, say he's going to stand on a piece of grass here, he's got a little bit of dirt below him, but I want to add something that I don't think I have time to make. And what I really want to do for that is I'm going to go over this to the 3D warehouse because I want to get this object. And let's say next to him, I want to put say a dog. And I don't know how to make a dog, and I don't have time to make a dog. I can go into the 3D warehouse tool, and then I can type in here dog, and I can search. And one of the cool things about this is that it's going to give me tons and tons and tons of different examples of dogs that other people have made. And so in this case, I could have a dog house, or I could have an actual dog up here of different style, of different kinds. I can go into a catalog, and maybe I can find, let me try collection. This is usually where I find my stuff is here's a bunch of different dogs. So I can say, okay, this is like 30 right here. Let's see what we got down there for this one. This one's 3 dogs. Let's select that one. I can open up a catalog and I can see, oh, here's some dogs that I can pick from. Here's a beagle. And let's say if I want to bring this beagle into our picture here, I'm going to hit download and I'm going to import. It might give me a warning that it's a big model. You'll see that. That's okay. One thing you're going to notice is that as you make more and more complex objects, it's going to increase the complexity of this. And so now there's our dog, and I didn't have to make that. I was able to simply import the dog into the picture. But you know what? Let's say if I like it, but I want him facing our guy over here. Well, all I have to do is grab the rotate tool, put it on top of the dog, and you're going to see that, wait a minute, when I start putting on there, it starts getting these different black circles. Well, if I go with the black circle, what's going to happen is going to rotate the dog in all kinds of weird ways that I might not want. So what I can do is instead put the dog onto this, and if I just see it now, it's just blue, I draw my line out. Now it's going to stay on the same axis. It's going to allow me to rotate the dog like this. And there he goes. And now our dog's in the right position. If you quickly want to rotate the dog into a different axis, one tool I use a lot is I use the directional arrows on my keyboard. And so I'm going to put the dog back onto this. And you see right now it's going to rotate on the blue plane. But if I went on a different plane, I can use the directional arrows to rotate it, say, up and down. Now our dog's going to be stuck in the ground. I can put him on his back. Come on. I almost had it. There we go. Now our dog's playing dead. Again, it's kind of stuck in the ground. Doing it this way gives you lots of different ways and lots of different options to kind of test out this tool and see what kind of works best for you, and kind of position things in lots of different ways. I encourage you to keep playing with this and keep testing this. I'm going to just add in just 1 or 2 more objects just so you can see. Let's say I'm going to put in I'm not going to find this one. I'm just going to draw this one. I'm going to put in, let's say, a pond, little pond right next to the dog, a little too big, right there. And I'm going to select the space inside of it. And I'm going to go my paint bucket tool. And I'm going to look for water. Here it is. Might take a minute for it to load. But I can start building out more and more complex shapes and more complex designs as you kind of work into this. I can pick my water. Let's go with this.
I'm going to pick the water that's going to go here. Once I've selected that, what I'm going to do is kind of collapse this window. I select the rotate around tool again so I can view it from different angles. And I'm going to go back to the 3D warehouse again, and I'm going to search for, let's say, a tree. There's lots of different options in here. Let me just pick a good one. Just keep searching for trees here. Let's see. Oh, that's nice. So I'm going to grab that. I'm going to download that tree. It looks a good model to me. Put it right into my scene here, and I can move it around and plop, put it right there. And I can deselect it, and now I've kind of got a nice little scene here, kind of like a little park scene. I can rotate around and take a look at it from different angles. So what I want you to do in the class is I would like you to now take a minute to now use SketchUp yourself. You have longer than 10 minutes, of course, but you can download this tool the way I showed you and access it online using the web version. And you can practice scaling. I want you to try making a short little park scene, and you can design it however you like. Review the video if you have other questions, and make your own little space here to just kind of practice using the tool. I also encourage you to take some time as a group to review your board game and any notes you might have taken during the visit. Review the textbook and think about some of these questions that I've kind of laid out here on the screen, and figure out how your group is going to be organized. And I encourage you to think about how you're going to take the notes that you generated on the discussion forum where you did some initial brainstorming and then incorporate them into your group as a whole. And that's going to really help you out as you're moving forward in this part of the project. And this will be really good to try to figure out how your project should come together. And I'd like you to start having kind of a basic prototype design for our next class.